Why, even with so much access to information, do some people become so susceptible to absurd decisions and ideas? Is it simply a lack of knowledge, or is there something deeper behind this apparently irrational behavior?
The answer to these questions may lie in a provocative essay that remains relevant even decades after it was written. Inspired by Carlo Cipolla's essay, this video will show you why modern stupidity is a real threat and how it affects your life more than you can imagine. If this topic intrigued you, it is worth reading the full essay. I will leave the link to the book in the description and in the pinned comment. Cipolla was an economic historian and a professor at the University of California, Berkeley, who in the 1970s dedicated himself to studying and classifying the various types of human foolishness. He believed that most of us ignore the immense destruction caused by stupidity. According to him, we easily recognize the effects of evil, corruption, and greed, but we tend to ignore the damage caused by human stupidity. We have all encountered stupidity, whether in daily life, in politics, or on social media. You have probably met someone who fervently defends a political leader or public figure, regardless of the controversial statements they make. We have all seen these passionate devotees who praise their idols despite glaring failures of logic and judgment. Cipolla wrote his essay to help correct this blind spot. The following pages are, in fact, the result of a constructive effort to detect, understand, and thus possibly neutralize one of the most powerful and obscure forces that hinder the growth of human well-being and happiness. To develop his theory, Cipolla classified people into 4 groups based on the effects their actions have on themselves and on others. First, there is the category of the helpless. The helpless person is one whose actions cause a loss to themselves, but a gain to another person. Second is the category of the bandit. The bandit is a person whose actions produce a gain for themselves, but a loss for another. The third category is the intelligent. An intelligent person behaves in such a way that they produce a gain for themselves as well as a gain for others. And finally, there is the category of the stupid. This last group, the stupid, was the one that intrigued Cipolla the most. They are driven by an innate tendency to make senseless decisions, even when these choices clearly harm their own interests. And this frustrates, confuses, and threatens the functioning of any society. In his essay, originally published in 1976, Cipolla lists 5 basic laws of human stupidity. The first of which states, always and inevitably, everyone underestimates the number of stupid individuals in circulation. The German physicist Albert Einstein, in a conversation with the German psychiatrist Friedrich Perls, is said to have remarked, "Two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I am not sure about the universe." Not only do we tend to underestimate the number of stupid people in society, but we also tend to underestimate the number of stupid people in our social orbit. But as Cipolla warned, this is a dangerous illusion. Large portions of the population are willing to think and act stupidly, and they often do. The second basic law of human stupidity states that the probability of a person being stupid is independent of any other characteristic of that person. Being rich, educated, beautiful, or influential does not prevent anyone from being stupid. Stupidity, according to Cipolla, is not linked to nationality, social class, income level, or degree of education. It is a constant present in all populations. Whether the second basic law is appreciated or not, its implications are frightening, Cipolla wrote. The law implies that whether you move in distinct circles or take refuge among Polynesian talent scouts, whether you lock yourself in a monastery or decide to spend the rest of your life in the company of beautiful and seductive women, you will always have to face the same percentage of stupid people, a percentage which, according to the first law, will always exceed your expectations. In other words, there is nowhere to hide from the effects of stupidity. The third basic law of stupidity reveals the irrational and unpredictable character of stupidity. A stupid person is a person who causes losses to another person or group of people without obtaining any gain themselves, and may even incur losses. Often our behavior oscillates among different categories. Sometimes we act helplessly, sometimes like bandits, while at other times our actions will be characterized by intelligence. But the stupid are different. They behave destructively even without any personal advantage. Stupid people often make decisions that harm others and themselves. Cipolla even identified a class of super stupid people who take their stupidity to another level. Unlike the common stupid person who harms others with their actions without obtaining gain or loss for themselves, super stupid people constantly harm themselves and others through their behavior. The stupid and the super stupid are a threat to society. They are responsible for many of our social problems, and in some cases, the devastation they cause can lead to the ruin of a civilization. Most people fail to recognize this, which is why the fourth basic law of human stupidity states, non-stupid people always underestimate the harmful power of stupid individuals. In particular, non-stupid people constantly forget that at any moment and in any circumstance, to deal with or associate with stupid people is bound to be an expensive mistake. This is a common trap. We think that because we are rational, we can predict and control the stupidity of others. But stupid people are unpredictable, and ignoring this makes us vulnerable. Cipolla argues that the damage caused by a stupid person is determined by two main factors. The first factor is their innate stupidity. Some people are genetically programmed to act in deeply stupid ways, and the more naturally stupid someone is, the greater the damage they will cause. The second factor that determines the damage caused by a stupid person is the amount of power and social influence they possess. The German theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer pointed out that stupidity and power go hand in hand. The more power a person has, the more they tend to stop thinking critically and become more stupid. This is because power isolates. It distances one from honest feedback. When you surround yourself with flatterers, people who always say yes, your understanding of reality begins to distort. A stupid person who occupies a high-level position in government, the armed forces, or a large corporation can cause much more damage than a stupid person who is unemployed. But how do stupid people achieve such positions of power? Shouldn't their stupidity prevent them from ascending to social status? Cipolla explains the question reasonable people often raise. How and why do stupid people manage to reach positions of power and importance? Class and caste were the social arrangements that favored the constant supply of stupid people to positions of power in most pre-industrial societies in the world. Religion was another contributing factor. But instead of class and caste, we have political parties and bureaucracy. And in place of religion, we have democracy. Within a democratic system, general elections are an extremely effective instrument for ensuring a constant supply of stupid people among the powerful. Elections allow the large number of stupid people in the general population to determine which politicians will hold office. And they often elect someone as stupid as themselves. And once a stupid person takes office, they help maintain the proportion of stupid people in the bureaucracy and judiciary by appointing them to positions of power. Thus, democracy ensures that a continuous supply of stupid people circulates through the corridors of governmental power. Another reason why stupid people represent such a great threat to society is that most of us fail to detect their stupidity and defend ourselves against their actions. In Cipolla's view, stupid people are much more dangerous than bandits, because at least with a bandit, there is a reason for their behavior. The bandit wants to obtain a gain for themselves, but is not intelligent or moral enough to do so in a way that produces a reciprocal gain for another person. But the bandit's actions, even if immoral, are still rational and thus somewhat predictable. This is not the case with the stupid. By underestimating them, we open ourselves to disastrous decisions, absurd politics, and dangerous collective behaviors. A stupid creature will assail you without reason, without any advantage, without any plan or scheme, and at the most improbable times and places. You cannot know rationally if, when, how, and why the stupid creature will attack. When faced with a stupid individual, you are completely at their mercy. Since the actions of the stupid person do not conform to the rules of rationality, we are generally caught off guard by the attack. Even when we become aware of the attack, we cannot organize a rational defense because the attack itself lacks any rational structure. This leads us to the fifth and final basic law of human stupidity. A stupid person is the most dangerous type of person. Stupid people act without logic or clear motive. Their actions cause gratuitous harm, impoverish society, and destroy lives, including their own. When they occupy positions of great influence, such as the presidency or government leadership, the damage expands. The consequence is almost always social ruin. Politicians and opportunists exploit this stupidity, but it is the truly stupid followers who make all this possible on a national. If you've made it this far, I want you to know that you're a warrior, and by staying on this path, you'll connect with your higher self and become a better person every single day. So if this resonates with you, go ahead and hit subscribe, give this video a like, and tap the bell so you won't miss any of these insights that are here to help you grow. Thanks for being part of the Being of Knowledge family and global scale. Cipolla believed that the only way to prevent stupid people from destroying a society is to increase the number of individuals who act intelligently. According to him, the stupid do not change categories, but bandits and helpless people can learn to act intelligently. If there are enough intelligent individuals, their actions, always aimed at mutual benefit, can compensate for or neutralize the damage caused by the stupid. The problem is that today the trend is quite the opposite. Social forces have pushed people away from intelligence and toward the other two categories. Paternalistic governments encourage passive behaviors by reducing the consequences for those who behave helplessly. At the same time, the cult of wealth and consumption creates such an unbridled desire for money and status that many become social bandits, acting unethically to achieve their goals. Without a sufficient number of intelligent people to balance the system, the result is the weakening of society's defenses and the advance of collapse. As Cipolla writes, in a declining country, the fraction of stupid people remains relatively constant. But among those in power, there is an alarming proliferation of bandits with signs of stupidity, and among those not in power, an equally alarming growth in the number of helpless individuals. Such a change in the population composition inevitably strengthens the destructive power of the stupid fraction and makes decline certain, and the country goes to hell. Cipolla concludes that stupidity is the most dangerous threat to society because it acts without logic or clear motivation, causes collective harm without personal benefit, and spreads easily without firm opposition. But he also offers a thread of hope. Although the stupid are numerous, the sensible are the majority. If they remain vigilant and act early, they can limit the damage before absurd beliefs spread. That is why understanding and recognizing stupidity is not just a philosophical curiosity, it is a matter of social survival. By promoting a culture of reflection, empathy, and rationality, we can reduce the space for stupidity, even if it never completely disappears. If this message resonated with you, if you felt something within you awaken, don't stop here. Subscribe to the Being of Knowledge and become part of a community of silent strategists, of awakened minds who no longer fall for masks. Like this video if it brought you clarity, and share it with those who also need to open their eyes. Because true power begins with one decision: to never be the same again. Thank you for watching.